before we start, I'd just like to remind you all that the meeting will be being recorded. And if you've got any phone or anything, if you could just silent. And if you can remember, usually the chat bar to the left-hand side. So if you can write questions or just raise your hand or do a smiley face if you need my attention, that's fine. If not, just wave. And Rod and I between us will try and catch you. And I would also, before the meeting starts, just like to say we had another resignation recently from Matt Ainge, but I'd like to thank him for his time on the Parish Council. I've still got Pete. Thank you very much. So thanks, Matt. Right, let's get going. Agenda item number 1, to receive any apologies for absence.
I've got none, actually. I think Sean is trying to join.
Okay, yeah. There's Sean. Fine. Hi, Sean.
Who's there?
We've not got Sue?
No, we haven't, no.
Okay. Item number 2, to welcome new councillors and to agree to defer the requirement to sign the acceptance of office. Well, I'd just like to welcome Isabel from France anyway for her first meeting. Who are the new councillors? Have we got any others?
No, just Isabel.
Oh, just Isabel. So Isabel, it is just you. I suddenly thought there were hundreds more I didn't know about. So welcome, Isabel. Lovely to see you. And thank you very much for joining us from France. That's dedication. Because next month when I'm on holiday, Glenys, you could be in charge.
Thank you, Polly.
You're welcome. Okay, item number 3, reports from county and district councillors. David, good evening.
Oh, good evening, all. Good evening.
Are you drinking gin in that cup?
No. Purely a coffee, a little late for latte, I guess, but more Americana. But anyway,
over to you.
Yes, thank you. Well, where does one start in these difficult circumstances? I suppose that I would just concentrate on Wedmore specific issues. I mean, you and I have had correspondence this week about the road closures at Cheddar. I would just like to reassure the Parish Council that we don't let people dig up our roads willy-nilly, and we do work really hard to try and coordinate it. But at the end of the day, the utilities are allowed to go dig up the roads. And, there are some circumstances that we cannot avoid. We try and do everything we can, as we've tried with, and I think quite successfully, with the Wells Road closure, to keep it open for the school traffic mornings and evenings and doing stuff like that. And they've got on with it. And I don't know the end date, but I think we're pretty close to completion on that because the weather's been good. So that was good. We've been, as a county council, well, ploughing, I suppose is probably the wrong word to use, but we've been resurfacing the road, doing all the highway maintenance to that, because again, the weather's been good. And the traffic's been very light. The only other issue that I seem to have picked up this week is with Sean, who wants to talk about how to apply for a chunk of our £1 million green grant. I think, as I reported last time, there really aren't any criteria. It's just come up with some clever ideas and we'll throw them in the pot and see what happens. I mean, I did also report, I think last time, that the only parish I had who had an idea was the dear people of Mark, and they've gone very quiet on me. So they haven't given me the idea that I thought they were going to give me to put forward. So currently I have nobody who wishes to apply for up to £1 million of county council funding on green issues. So I guess we put that challenge down to Sean and your parish council.
I have a list, David. I've just got to email it to you.
Okay.
I've just been busy with work,
okay.
But I've got a list and I'll get it out to you ASAP.
Fantastic, because there are no rules, and I would be grateful for it, because I feel a little embarrassed that my communities haven't come up with any ideas themselves. So
that would be absolutely great if we can get in there.
I mean,
maybe we can nab the $1 million.
Well, I mean, you've got to step over Frome. You know, the Republic of Frome are well ahead of everybody else on green issues, and indeed independence from the rest of the country, as far as I can see. But they have a tremendous community spirit in Frome, which I know you have as well, and you know, it's all part of the same issue. We're trying to support community resilience. We want communities to take more responsibility for what happens in their parishes. You are very fortunate in having a vibrant community which is big enough to do those very things, and you've got lots of things going for you. I try not to mention the Wedmore Opera, because sometimes my colleague says, well, how can Wedmore have any needs if they have an opera? So I'll keep the Wedmore Opera quiet with you, but there we are. So happy to take questions.
Yes,
Tim.
any questions for David? Hands up if you've got one. Oh, Sean's got one. Go for it, Sean.
Should we approach David through the Parish Council, or as Jo says she's got a list, should we just all flood him with various ideas, or coordinate it through subcommittees or through?
No. Let's not make this desperately bureaucratic.
Okay, good idea.
Give me the ideas,
Okay.
and let me look at them, and I will promote them on your behalf.
Okay.
How about that?
All right. Well, that's lots of scope there. That's almost too much, but that's great.
You know, yeah, it is. I mean, I am sure. I mean, I think the scheme actually opens on the 1st of September, and on the 1st of September there'll be all kinds of ideas about what you can do. But I've got a feeling by the 1st of September, £1 million will have already been spent on clever ideas. So let's get ahead of the game here.
Thank you. Yeah.
Anybody else got any questions for David? David, I've got just a couple. The double yellow lines that got done by the village hall last year are already coming apart and disappearing.
Can I
in
just
places.
say these are the original yellow lines? Or
No, the new ones.
Ones. Oh, right, okay. And they're disappearing because people are parking on them, or what?
No, I don't know why, but they seem to have been coming away. I noticed today as I drove past them.
Okay, I will put that on my list to Catherine.
Lovely. Also, going back to the road closure, Wells Road, I heard that they're meant to be finishing, I think, on the 19th of July.
Okay.
Let's hope that's the case. And I just want to say thank you. The bollards at the top of Billings Hill, the new ones, have been erected, so that's great.
Oh,
now,
this is the Darth Vader.
Won't just drive over them again.
Is this it? So what? This isn't a Darth Vader. This is not horrible plastic things that people drive over them, is it?
Yeah, they are.
Ah. Well, that's fairly pointless, as you and I know, really.
But they've replaced them, and they're looking great until they get driven over.
Yes.
But there are more issues there, but we can talk about that another time.
Well,
it's just the road. You know, the road goes out there. You could cut a corner off that bend up there.
well, or indeed, the person who owns the house across the way shouldn't have built the road on a wall on the carriageway to force HGVs to go that way.
Yeah.
I feel a little disgruntled that we're being asked as a community, or indeed a county council, to move a road because somebody's decided to obstruct the highway effectively. So,
But then there was obviously no objection from the highways.
well, all the
It's catch-22.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, no more questions for David, anybody?
So hang on,
Oh.
before I leave that subject,
Yeah.
do you want me to move the road?
I'd love not the road, but I'd like the corner of the verge to be taken away so that
So we can do that. That's not an issue at all. Does the Parish Council have anything to contribute to the scheme?
probably some advice.
No. I mean, off the top of my head, we could cut that corner off.
Okay.
Thinking that it might be £10,000.
Right.
If the Parish Council want to put half of that up, I'm sure I can find the other half.
Okay, well, that's a discussion for us to have at a later date, I guess.
Well, in this meeting or otherwise, yeah. But I mean, that's the sort of thing. We're very happy to help local solutions as long as there's some kind of joint funding.
Okay.
All right. I mean, it might not be £10,000. I've just picked that out the air, but these things tend not to be inexpensive.
I've just seen Jackie raise a finger.
It would seem far more sensible to chop the corner off and save everyone having to jump onto the verge when a tractor and trailer or an Arctic's coming the other way, which you can't see until you get to the top of the hill. It would surely make everyone's life a lot easier.
I think so. The verge is huge, so if we can, we'll look into that. Let's see what we can do.
Okay, happy to
Another
take
project.
the chairman. Yeah.
Great. No more questions for David? No, David, thank you very much for joining us.
I will leave you to it.
Don't feel obliged to stay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye. And then district councillors, that's me. There's absolutely virtually nothing going on district council wise. We have a weekly Zoom meeting. I heard some of it today, but I had to go off and do something else. And the only thing I did last week, I chaired my licensing and general purposes committee, and we went through licensing policy amendments and discussed our licensing panels. But other than that, other than, you know, normal things locally going on, roads and issues that aren't actually my domain, it's all quite quiet. So that's all I've got to report on from district council. Okay, item number 4, to record any declarations of interest.
No, I have none, Madam Chairman.
Okay. Number 5, minutes of the meeting held on the 17th of June.
They have been circulated and I've received some comments which I've taken on board. And perhaps if we get agreement, I will get you to sign them tomorrow or Friday.
Lovely. Do I have a proposer? Oh, Alistair, and a seconder, Sean.
Sean and Alistair, thank you.
Lovely. Is everyone in a... Oh, no, Sean's... Well, you're not seconding.
Just a quick one on this, sorry. Councillor Mulliner, sorry, Emily, asked for more members to serve on the resilience subcommittee, saying there's only 3, but at that meeting, Joe and Sue, unless they feel press ganged, did quite kindly offer to join that. So it was more than 3, and perhaps there will be more. I don't know. So it's not just the 3 Musketeers. There are more, but maybe that wasn't pointed out at the time.
Okay. I don't think we voted on anything though.
No. It was just other people said they wished to join.
Cool. Okay. So is everyone in favour of the minutes? Are they happy with those, that I can sign them tomorrow? Yeah, great. Thank you. Item number 6, matters arising.
Only is covered on the agenda, Madam Chairman.
Okay, great. Number 7, public participation. Now, Steve Muse was meant to be joining us.
Well, he's not.
Oh.
I think that's going to be in August.
Oh,
I think
okay.
he didn't. I don't actually know. Maybe he can't get onto Zoom, but I think he's might have.
I messaged him earlier. He was going to talk about shall and something else, but
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. So
He asked me if he could join tonight, and I sent him the invitation code.
okay. Well, we'll have to have him next time, unfortunately.
okay.
Emily,
Okay.
Polly.
Oh,
Yeah.
Polly, sorry. I've just checked I've just picked up my phone and I have got a message from him actually saying, could I resend him the code? So should I resend it to him? Because he obviously was going to join.
Yeah, sure. And then maybe we can slot him in a minute. What about that?
Okay.
Okay, give him a go. We'll carry on, and then he can do his bit in a sec, shall he? Okay, item number 8, financial matters.
Yeah, the accounts have been checked by Joe and Emily, and all is in order, and all the bills have been paid.
Brilliant. I like this system of not having to sign all the checks throughout the evening. Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you. Item number 9, to consider co-opting a new councillor.
Well, Madam Chairman, I've circulated details of 2 potential councillors. We have 1 Blackford vacancy at the moment and 3 Wedmore ones. One of the Wedmore ones is to do with Matt Ainge, who recently left, and that position is still being advertised. So we still have 2 from Wedmore. And I've circulated details of Barbara James Lloyd and David Curley. I hope the members have seen all this. We don't have to appoint anybody tonight or co-opt them, but if you wish to, and everybody's happy, we can co-opt them and welcome at the August meeting. Otherwise, you want to leave it until we get some more candidates in, that's fine.
Okay, Emily?
If we are co-opting, I know Babs very well, and I'd be very happy to propose her as a councillor. I think she'd be brilliant.
Okay.
Is that Blackford ward?
No, it's Wedmore, Peter. We're still waiting for one for Blackford. We haven't got anybody.
Okay. Okay.
Anybody got any views, any issues on it? Oh, Isabel's waving from France, and then Joe. Go ahead, Isabel. You're muted.
You're muted.
Unmute
No.
yourself, Isabel.
That's better. Babs is my neighbour, my new neighbour, and she's very efficient. She participates in school. She also helps to run her husband's company, and she's an ex-lawyer, and she comes across very professional, efficient, and I think I would like to second her to be co-opted as a Wedmore councillor.
Super. Okay. Well, I think the general feeling, I think, unless anyone's dead against it, then I don't see why we shouldn't co-opt the ones tonight.
Can we have a formal proposition, Chairman?
Yeah. So anyone would like to propose? Oh, Joe's down there. Sorry, I forgot.
No, I didn't get to speak.
Sorry, I forgot you. How
That's
rude.
okay. I do have another person who wants to come on, but they had to wait to the end of school to finish. So now school is finishing this week. He's going to be able to apply. He just did not have the bandwidth to apply the last 2 weeks.
Okay. Well,
So
he can do him in August.
yeah, okay, but it's still got space to do that.
Okay. Yeah, happy with that. I know who you're talking about. So
Yeah,
yeah, perfect.
We could do
okay.
More the merrier.
we need a Blackford rep.
Yeah, we do need a Blackford rep. Anybody know?
He lives in Blackford, though.
Yes, you. What happened to Steve down the road, Em?
I think he was just concerned with his other commitments that he might not have enough time for it,
No.
which is a real shame because I think he'd be great.
I think he'd be great. I had plans for him.
Phone him, Polly. Honestly, you could persuade him.
Good eye.
He just needs to be persuaded.
Oh, all right. Well, you have to pass me his number, and I'll try and persuade him. Okay, so have we got a proposer for co-opting the new councillors? Someone, Emily? Anyone second it? Isabel, lovely. Everyone in favour? Great, super duper. Good evening, Steve. I see you down the bottom there, Mr. Muse. Can you hear me? Oh no, he's frozen.
Steve, you're muted.
Yeah, but he's also frozen. Unless he's, oh yeah, he's doing a Marceau. Oh no, Steve, now you're muted and we can't see you and you're not moving. Right, we might have to come back to him
Move
again.
on.
That's a problem of living down at Land's End. There's obviously no connection. Okay, well, we'll do Steve again if we get him back. Brilliant. Item number 10. Consider separating the facilities, allotments and footpath committee to having allotments and facilities and merging footpaths with green issues, and to agree a councillor to chair this new facility. Well, this obviously came about from last month's meeting, where I think the footpaths is such a big issue that Judy and Joe, who've done such a great job so far with the allotments, I think the footpaths was proving to be quite a pain, certainly was for me. And Sean, you had also marvellous ideas. And I think
yes, I do. And to quote, you said, "Put your money where your mouth is." And now I'm the PPLO.
Brilliant.
And yes, brilliant. You're coming on the first walk to hand over because I don't know about footpaths, so you can tell me.
That's fine.
I'm meeting. Yeah, thank you very much for nominating me. I'm sure I can get you back one day somehow. And it's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward.
I think that the right plan is to get lots of other people involved in it, so people do help, because it's too big a job for one person. To get lots of people within the parish checking ticket routes, but coming back to that one coordinator.
Yeah, and I suppose it shouldn't be seen as an onerous task. It's actually a fantastic asset. The paths around here are the most beautiful in the country. Yeah,
exactly. So it's a great thing to do. So I just, I think we do need to separate out these two committees, because one is too big. The other. Sean, I mean, is there anybody who would like to be the chair of that new committee?
That committee being what? Footpaths and green issues?
Yes.
As long as according to what Rodney was saying, that it's core 8, yes, I've got, if we get enough to be able to do that. If it comes under FAF facility, if it comes under 1, and then we're part, I don't understand the numbers, because what Rodney was saying, if it's less than a certain number, it has very little meaning. But if you get enough within the footpaths and the green issues, then it means we don't have to, at a subcommittee meeting, talk about allotments for ages, then footpaths, then facilities, then green issues, because I think that probably will go on for quite a long time. So do you envisage them being separate and having 2 separate subcommittees and meeting at different times, or all together at the same time with different...
Oh, can everyone who's not talking mute their sound, please, because I'm getting a lot of feedback. I don't know, this is the discussion to have. Who's got... Judy, you had your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was wondering about the eco-resilience and where that comes in as well.
Well, that was just... Green has a bit of a problem with a hackneyed history. It has a bit of a problem. Some people may see it as the Green Party. And I was taking the lead maybe from other, like Froome and other places which have been using the word resilience. I've actually gave a book to Polly about resilience. Did you read it?
It's still in my car, but I have sat in the loop reading it. I've got to about 3 chapters.
Okay, and I think the term might have been more viable now in terms of the Somerset County Council's framework on climate, and that word being regularly used. I've got no problems with the difficulty of the word resilience. Just let's get stuff done. And we could call it the sustainability, another dreadfully overused word, and it means a lot of things to different people. Maybe we need to come up with a agreed term, but for the moment, if we just call it green issues, I think perhaps we can then move forward and come up with a suitable term.
Judy?
I suppose I was wondering about the split. I was rather thinking that it would be allotments and facilities, okay, and then you would do footpaths and green, eco-resilience. Does that sound okay?
That's
kind of you. I mean, I really want to concentrate for the next 6 months on just footpaths and community engagement on those, but a collective of others to be able to do the green issues, yes. But if you need a lead, Emily or I or Jackie could do that. I'm not precious about it, but
Joe,
would it not just be to resolve this, just have then the footpaths committee and then have a representative on the green, because there is a green group in Wedmore, and in terms of like the twinning and the village halls, we have reps, and the playing fields, we have reps that sit on those committees and report back. Should we not really, to resolve this, have a rep that sits on the green group and reports back, and then we have the footpaths?
Well, only if I'm trying to understand the terms of reference might be different for a rep as opposed to a committee minutes report. And forgive me, I just don't know if there is a difference.
But we've agreed as a parish that we've signed the Green Charter, but doesn't make the Parish Council green. There's a green group to do that. What we need to do is make sure we understand what the green group are doing, and we've agreed to support, where possible, as the Parish Council, all the green initiatives as and when we can. But we've also got to support the village halls and the playing fields and many other aspects of the village. So I'm just thinking, for now, for the 6 months that you particularly want to focus on footpaths, a resolution could be that we have the footpaths committee, which you focus on, and we have a rep for now on the green group. That's what I think.
Jackie?
We already have a Green Wedmore report in the minutes that we get on a monthly basis.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure how that would be different when we're already getting a report from someone who attends the Green Wedmore.
I thought Sean was a Parish Council rep on that committee, on the Green Committee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I report the minutes of the meetings, yes. But I mean, I think Joe's thing for the moment, until the Green Group perhaps make a representation to the Parish Council in August or September or sometime, we could play along as it is at the moment. But Rodney's point last month, or maybe the month before, about it having to be quorate to be, is the word effective or legitimate, meant that we then joined in with FAF, and that's okay. There were 5 or 6 people interested in being in the resilience subcommittee group, so I think we will be quorate and work within FAF. And Judy talks about allotments at the meeting, which we're having next week, the 22nd. We talk about green and footpaths, and it's just all recorded. As long as Rodney's taking the minutes of all that, I think that's fine.
Okay, Rod, do you want to say something?
Just to say that the minimum number of the committee is 3. That's the minimum number you can have. To be quorate, you must have at least 1/3 of the total members of that committee. So if you've got 7 or 8 on a footpaths committee, you'll need, I don't know, divide it by 3 to be quorate. I can't possibly be a problem, Sean, with being
okay.
But I don't want to turn up every month.
I don't
minutes.
think so. I think we're all trying. You don't?
No. If you're having monthly meetings, that's another discussion we'll have to have.
Yeah, Emily's got her hands up.
Oh, sorry, I'm muted. No, sorry, I'm a bit confused about who would be on the proposed footpaths committee, because we haven't said who would be on that, have we? So are there enough people that want to be on that?
Well, that's
to be
we're going to find out now. And I see where Rod's coming from, because most committees, Sean, we don't meet every month. So the highways certainly don't meet every month. Planning is about the only one that does, along with the Parish Council. But all the other committees certainly don't meet monthly. So I can see where he's coming from there, because, you know, there isn't usually enough business for us to have monthly meetings. Well,
we'll just have to use the other channel then, through the Green Wedmore representatives. If something needs to come up, for instance, if 6 or 7 people want to speak about David Huxtable's £1 million next month, and we say we're not meeting for 4 months, under that, well, we'd have to find another channel.
I mean, it doesn't. It does come back up at the bottom, because it'll come up facilities, allotments, and footpaths. But what he's saying is that we don't. You could talk about it every month, but we don't generally have a meeting of the different committees every month. Okay. We have them, quarterly quite often, apart from planning. Because there's not enough business generally, like allotments committees, it's not enough business generally to have a meeting every month for that committee. But we could discuss the issues at the bottom at the end of every council meeting. Issues. That's for sure. Yeah.
Well, we'll find a channel to do that. Yeah.
Well, surely there's nothing to stop, say, 3 or 4 councillors having a get-together to decide what then comes forward at the next parish council meeting. Absolutely. It doesn't necessarily have to be a formal meeting with Rod taking minutes.
No. Absolutely.
Yeah, we don't want Rod to be minuted to death, certainly.
Okay, so at the moment there's quite a lot of us on the footpaths, facilities and allotments committee anyway. Is there anybody separately on here who would want to go on the footpaths one if we split them up? Anyone got a burning desire to be on that committee as a different committee?
Bear in mind, we've got 2 new councillors coming on board.
We have. So it doesn't look like we're resolving it, that we're going to have to keep it the same. Isabel's waving. Isabel?
Yeah, I don't mind. I did volunteer for the committee, so whatever, I don't mind. If there's a job going and needs to be done, I don't mind.
Can I just have a show of hands? Who wants to be on a separate committee, which would be the footpaths and green issues?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Sean, you can put your hand up.
Oh yeah, well.
You've got a quorum.
We've got 4, and I know that Sue Worrell expressed an interest, didn't she?
I don't know where
so potentially we've got 5.
I mean, ideally, if we could have somebody who could nominally be speaking on behalf of the footpaths of Blackford, Theale and Wedmore, that would be absolutely brilliant, because then it would span. We've got somebody from Theale, no problem. Emily's sort of Blackfordy, but we don't seem to have anybody from do we have somebody from Wedmore? Yes, sorry, Isabel, I didn't know where you live. That would be great. And I mean, the very first thing that we're doing is putting up to the definitive maps everywhere. So then we can actually stimulate people to maybe adopt a path through Martin's 500 leaflets he's giving me or something. You know.
Okay, so well, am I going to propose that we split these committees up? Do I have a proposer for that? Okay, Judy, a seconder. Joe. Okay, all those in favour of splitting up the committees? Oh yeah, that looks pretty much in favour of that. Okay, well, we'll do that then, and then potentially at the next meeting we can finalise who's going to be on the committees and just work it out that way. So it's not so much work for Judy and Joe, and we separate them. I think it's a good plan. Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Oh, Steve, you're back. I think we'll go back to Steve Muse now, who was where was he? Item number 7. He's back in the room. Item number 7. Hello, Steve. You've got 10 minutes maximum.
Thanks, Polly. Thanks, Chair. Yeah, apologies for lateness. I've had all sorts of interesting computer issues tonight, but I made it. Just a couple of things I wanted to mention to the council, if that's okay. The first one was some exciting news from yesterday. The Shall housing project. Most of you will know that the Parish Council was fantastic in working with Green Wedmore and with Wedmore Community Power Co-op to help retrofit one of the social houses in Wedmore up in Mudgley Crossroads, which was fantastic, big success, all done, work's done, the new tenants are in there, they're really happy and comfortable and warmer and out of fuel poverty, which is brilliant. And I heard from Shell Housing yesterday, and now Shell Housing have got 3 houses in the Wedmore area, one in Pilcorn Street, one in Rug Hill, and they're keen to put PV on the 3 houses as well. So, so hopefully that'll be the next big project, which is really exciting. So that'll help lower their bills and make their houses more environmentally friendly. So, so that's good news. And then the second thing, with my Somerset Wildlife Trust hat on, we were working pre-COVID with Polly and a few others on a project called Adapting the Levels, which is a climate adaptation project, which is funded by the European Union and Somerset Rivers Authority, and that's been doing great things. And we've been trying to a lot of it was to do with community engagement and actually working face-to-face with people, which is a little harder in the current climate. So we've been looking for other projects to develop, and I think Sean's going to like this one. I haven't mentioned it to him yet, but we're looking at a climate walking trail around the parish. So very, very early days. I haven't many details, but we'll be keen to work with the Parish Council on that, so that it's a proper co-created project. Not creating new footpaths, but just using existing ones, but theming it around climate adaptation, which should be good fun. And there's a fancy computery way that we're going to do it. But we'll hopefully talk to you guys at the next meeting or the one after that when we've got more details. So just to really make you aware of some exciting new projects.
Great, thank you very much. And oh, you are under your 3 minutes. Very impressive. He's an absolute professional. Brilliant. Thank you very much, Steve. Right. Item number 11. We've got to agree a chair of the council's highway committee. Yeah, I've kind of decided that I've got too much on my plate. I seem to have got myself on so many committees. And I'd kind of put it towards Alistair, whether he might like to be the chair of the highways committee. And how are you feeling about if we potentially do that, Alistair?
Well, it's one of the things that I would have some interest in doing, so yeah, why not? I
think
I'm interested that don't meet too frequently, which is also good news.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So can I have a proposer for this, please? Okay, we'll propose that Alistair Smith will be the new chairman of the Highways Committee. That's Judy, and a seconder.
Gladys.
Lovely. Everyone in favour? Yeah, great. Thank you, Alistair. You are now the chairman of the Highways Committee. Super. Thank you very much. Item number 12, to consider making changes to street lighting requirements in the parish and to agree a councillor to lead the process.
I put this on from following last month's meeting, Chairman. So really, it's a major project, I think, because it's going to be consulting with householders throughout the parish.
Exactly, and I know lots of people are keen, and I know lots of people won't be keen, but the only way we can do this is if we've got someone leading the way on the project. If we don't, then we can't do it. We need, again, a bit like with Sean, when I sent him my little email saying, put your money where your mouth is. We need, the ideas are great, but we need councillors to see these projects through. So is there anybody who would like to see this?
Isabel's waving like mad.
Isabel's waving. Hello, Isabel.
Hi, Polly. Yes, I would be interested in that. I don't, in Gardener's Orchard, where I live, it is very dark. So at one stage, all of the street lights were put out and we couldn't see to get home. I had to have a torch. So I would be keen to canvass neighbourhoods, streets, to see what people are saying, and then hopefully come up with some sort of plan or have some sort of maybe survey that I could put out or whatever. I'd be quite happy to lead it.
Oh, Isabel, that's fantastic, because it is an issue, because a lot of people would like for the environmental impact to switch lights off, but then I know there'll be a lot of people who don't want to, so it might be a case of people putting them on timers. I don't know, but of course county council are the people who are in control of the lights. Does anybody want to shadow or help Isabel with that? No? Yes? Landon, is that a yes? You'd like to, or you're asking a question? He'd like to. That's a big thumb. Brilliant. Thank you. That's great. Thank you, Isabel. So, Rod, Isabel's agreed to take that project on, and Landon's going to help her with it. So that's fantastic. Thank you very much. Anybody else got anything to add to that? No. Cool. Item number 13, to consider a way forward with SIL receipts and expenditure. Well, yeah, this is a good one. Now, again, I kind of have started to throw this Alistair's way, because I think Alistair has got his finger on the pulse with SIL. But as a parish council, I sent out an email a couple of weeks ago, asking what people's thoughts were on the SIL payments that we get from developers and where they'd like it spent. I haven't had many responses, I have to say, but Alistair seems quite keen on this subject. So again, I was hoping he might like to lead. And as a parish council, we communicate with Alistair about various projects, but he could sort of potentially be in control of it. Are you still okay with that, Alistair?
Yes, I am. I'm just slightly confused by the paper that came round showing what monies had been spent thus far, because they didn't seem to comply with what I understood the SIL money was for. It was to, as I understand it, it is to try and mitigate the increased housing pressures by doing various things, and this is the Section 106 money has been used for that throughout the country, building roads, building schools and so on. And it seemed to me that when we were doing the neighbourhood plan, that this was an opportunity to get for the parish council a rather bigger opportunity to do some decent sized jobs. Not massive, but it's a step in the right direction, particularly when we start getting the 25%. So I was rather surprised at some of the ones, planting flowers and things like that. I just sort of saw as being out of the scope of SIL, but I maybe perhaps need to be corrected on that.
Well, we did chat with Sedgemoor, and they were quite happy that the Wedmore in Bloom were good qualifiers for
right. Well, there you go.
The infrastructure.
Judy?
Well,
I was just going to throw in that, you know, I'm sort of throwing around at the moment ideas about water supply up at the allotments and possibility of borehole, which we're obviously going to discuss at the meeting next week. Do you think that might be a qualify for some SIL money?
Well, I suppose my point of reference was the neighbourhood plan, where there were one or two things put down specifically through the public consultation process that we'd done, and they were nearly all to do with roads, pavements, traffic, parking, and all those sort of issues. So at the moment, I don't have an agenda for what to do other than looking at the neighbourhood plan. But I think it's perhaps an opportunity sometime to have a bit of a discussion about what sort of things we would like. I personally feel it would be a bit of a mistake just to dribble the money out into small things, you know, £300 or £400 for here and there, because it seems to me that there will be few opportunities in the future, because hopefully we won't be having that much more development for some considerable time. And I think
okay, I've got lots of hands up. The first I saw was Joe, then Nandin, then Sean. So go ahead, Joe.
I'm just going to say that I had agreed to help Dennis on this, so I'm more than happy to continue with helping Alistair.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Nandin?
Yes, I think I'd agree to do the same, actually. But I actually agree with Alistair very much that it is money that should be used for bigger rather than smaller projects. Last week, I think Glenys went or attended it on a Zoom meeting. There was discussion about neighbourhood plans given by Tessa Munt, and I think one of the things that was flagged up particularly was that the cash that comes from these sorts of things is never actually enough to carry out some of the big projects that people want. And so I think it's very much needed to identify, and I think it is a big project where it can be used really, pretty much it's going to be a one-off, you know, it is the chance to do something, well,
yeah,
something where you do need a lot of money rather than just a few hundred.
Of course, the thing also with the footpath issue in Pilcon Street is that, you know, if Strongbox do get their planning application to do phase 3, they are intending to pay and to do the work and do that footpath. So, you know, that instant.
Oh, right. Well, I didn't know that.
They've sent me the paperwork showing me what they'd be willing to do. That's the kind of deal they want to do in order to get their planning. But, you know, that doesn't mean, you know, we'll roll over and just say, yes, we want your houses. But if they get their planning, that's what they're prepared to do, because they know it ticks the boxes for the neighbourhood plan. Yeah. So potentially, if they got their planning and they do that, then there's another, you know, project with quite a lot of cash that we'll have floating around, rather than blowing all the SIL on the one thing. Yeah. Sean, you were next on the list.
Yeah. When I mentioned about neighbourhood plan, talking about the public engagement, and the things that came out were roads, paving and traffic. I mean, there was a report from Somerset that looked at the amount of money that was spent on the roads compared to the amount on cycling and walking, and it was only about 1.4%. Vast amounts of money have been spent on highways and not enough, or a very small amount. This is an opportunity to be able to address that, rather than say, oh, if public says, oh, we want to spend more money on highways, I think we should resist that locally and try and spend it on bolder projects for cycling. I mean, okay, cycling and walking is an area I'm at, but it could be EV charging points and more issues, things like that, which are bold, but don't necessarily cost a great deal of money. Highways might be quite keen to hear that the public engagement was, oh, loads more money they want to be spent through neighbourhood plans on highways. I think that's wrong. I also think that projects should be sustainable. Flowers are not sustainable. They die at the end of the year. Wedmore in bloom, as laudable as it is, I think is totally the wrong way to spend money. It should have a legacy, this money, and it should be saying something you can see in 10 years' time. You don't see flowers in November after £400 been spent. I think it's a very, very poor use of money, which is a one-off. Can I make one other point? there might be a crossover between SIL, which is money for infrastructure, and the green fund, which David talked about, which also might be for infrastructure. So we have to make sure that if we go to the green fund, it might be for things which are less sort of infrastructure, maybe like solar panels, but the SIL money is specifically for infrastructure. So we need to separate out anybody's putting in a bid to make sure, yeah, actually that's more SIL than it is green, because we might use up all the green money on projects which could have come out of SIL funding. So just need to know about the separation there, I think.
Yeah. Alistair?
Yeah, I totally agree with Sean. Actually, when I said highways, I wasn't thinking of building any new roads. So
no, pavements.
Rest assured on that. I think there's a couple of things really. One is about footpaths, the cycleway to Sexy School, things like that, but also levering the money in from elsewhere. We had an offer from David earlier that if we were to pay half of that particular project, so we get a £10,000 project done for 5. So I'm not suggesting that particular instance, but it's a way of getting more for your bangs for your buck by trying to persuade others to come in with you.
Yeah, true. Jackie?
Might be an example.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help as well, even if Alistair just gives me a job and says, go away and find out how much it's going to cost to go and do X, Y, Z.
Rod?
I'm so happy Alistair's taking this on. Just a reminder that the SIL money has to be spent within 3 years of when it was given to us. Otherwise, says we'll get it back again.
We don't want that.
No, absolutely.
Well, that's fab. There's loads of you who want to get involved, which is brilliant, because, you know, we owe it to our community, which is being totally destroyed by all these houses, which of course we kind of need, but we don't really want that many more. But, you know, we got to this one chance to do some good stuff, so we need to do some properly good stuff with this money. So yes, Alistair, thank you for sort of getting involved. That's brilliant, and thank you everybody else for wanting to get involved. And I'm sure between you all emailing and myself, we can make some good decisions for our community, and hopefully, you know, get some feedback from them as well. Great stuff.
14.
Yep. Right. Number 14, to consider making a planning application to extend the car park at Worthington Close and to obtain costings for the works process.
Yeah, this is a hangover from our previous chairman, Madam Chairman. We have had plans drawn up by Benjamin and Beecham to extend the car park into that field behind the Worthington Close bungalows. Goodness knows what it's going to cost us with the groundworks and all the drainage and that sort of thing. But it's been suggested that perhaps we do put a planning application in to extend it based on the plans we already have paid for. And with if it was granted, we would have 3 years to complete it or to carry on.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm quite keen for us to look into that, just because I think that's the one thing we've got to do. The other half of it we know is going to be planted up with green Wedmore and turned into a lovely, nice green space. But I think we need to look into it. Has anyone got any comments on this one? Joe, and then Jackie.
Sorry, I just have a question. Is there a reason why we always use Benjamin and Beecham for everything in Wedmore?
No, I don't know.
No, I mean,
they've done a lot of work for us, and they do it at cost. I say more than that.
And I think the drawings were drawn up beforehand. The previous chairman got them involved, so you know, we've got to keep them on board for the time being because they've done all the work, I guess. But
yeah,
no,
for this project, but I just wondered, it just seems that everything, that whatever committee, wherever you turn, is Benjamin and Beecham. And we never seem to have other alternatives.
It's quite nice supporting a local architect in the village.
It's a local firm.
It is a local firm.
And they're using their junior members. They're not using their senior partners. So we're getting a cheap rate on this.
Okay, just wondered.
Jackie?
I have contacts that I can get some competitive quotes probably for doing some works.
That would be super. That's just what we like to hear. Yes, please. Get in touch with Rod. Super.
Okay, well, I'll need a copy of the plan.
Oh, she's gone a bit funny.
Yes, okay, I can heard that.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, if you two liaise, that would be brilliant. But yes, I mean, we'd certainly need to do something with that land down there, the other end of it, and it's ripe for expanding a car park with all these extra cars coming to the village and things. You know, it's full now most of the time when it's not COVID, you know, lockdown. So I think it is only a good thing. Isabel?
Maybe also that there be space for plug-in electrical point or something for future of green issues. Well,
yes,
you know,
definitely.
for that sort of thing.
I think there's already a plan. Emily's got those sourced. She can update us in a sec, but they are going to go in the existing car park, I believe, because well, they could go in the new one. I don't know. Em?
Can't find the button. Yeah, so I think the idea was to put them in the existing car park. So the chargers are still available. I've checked that. They just ask for £100 donation for each charger. So there were 2 that she'd had kind of reserved for Wedmore Parish Council. And there was a quote that was done for this, but it wasn't just, so I have to declare a conflict of interest here because it is the company that I work for, which is my brother's company. So he did a quote for the installation, but it was partly, it needed to have a builder as well to put in some, what do you call them? Posts, I guess, for the chargers to go on because they're not standalone chargers. So yeah, so he was just trying to confirm that the costs he got from a builder were the correct costs before he before he resubmits it, I guess.
Okay.
But it looked like it was around £2,000. But I'm wondering if that could go on the list of things that David was talking about, because that would be a really easy. We've got a quote and we could just get them in.
Correct.
So
it's actually top of the list, Emily.
Yay.
Brilliant. That's great. Alistair?
I mean, this strikes me as being the sort of project that SIL money would be good for, because it is expanding the capacity of the car park because of the new housing and all the rest of it. But it is expensive, and that's why I feel it's necessary to consider how much money we can get from SIL and look at projects, something like that. And to me, during the consultations we were doing with the neighbourhood plan, one of the things that people kept saying was, well, you're always consulting us and we come up with these ideas, but nothing ever happens. We get the houses, but nothing else. And I think it would be nice to be able to point to something and say that was as a direct result of the SIL money which we got from the housing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that one. Right, I can't see any other hands up for that one. So that's brilliant. Okay. So yes, we're going to...
What's the, sorry, Madam Chairman, what's the result of this? Are we going to defer this?
Oh yes, we're happy. So yeah, I've got a proposal that we
just defer it.
Are we deferring it? Why are we deferring it?
Why?
Well,
Why defer?
To make the planning application.
Is it because we're running out of time?
I think we want to make a planning application, don't we? I'm going to propose. Is there anyone who would like to propose a planning application?
Yeah.
We'll be putting in a planning application to expand the car park. Yeah, yes. I've got a proposer and I've got a second. I've got Alistair and I've got Nandin.
Okay.
Is everyone in favour?
Thank you.
Anyone against? No. Okay, cool. Brilliant. Good stuff. That's a bit more work for you, Rod.
No problem.
Brilliant. Item number 15. Okay, issues and questions raised by councillors. I shall work my way around the screen. Next to me is Pete. Pete, hello. Have you got any issues or anything raised?
No, just to say I read this community infrastructure policy. Was that composed or was it issued by whom? Who actually wrote all of it? Was it the council or was it the district?
Alistair was asked to do it.
No. Sorry, Dennis.
No, sorry. Exactly. Dennis Briaris did it.
Oh right. No, I mean I didn't know. I didn't know who did it. I've read it through twice, and yeah.
We adopted it a few months ago at a meeting.
Oh right. Well, anyway, I've got the full thing here, all the 4 pages or 5 pages, whatever it is, 4 or 5 pages. And I mean, it's very interesting, and I just wondered whether this, was done by the council. So basically, it was, as it were, because I presume that Dennis Briers was then a member of the council.
Yeah. He was asked to do it.
I mean, it's not. I've got no issue with it, but I just wondered where it was coming from.
Yeah, we just needed something in place, something concrete, a bit like our grants policy.
That's all right. I mean, is this likely to be a document which we would to use to go into, for when I say it always sounds like further discussion, and it's never quite as easy on this sort of thing as it is in an actual meeting. It's just that it's it seems a very detailed whatever, and it needs to be discussed.
It will be used because we've adopted it as a council. Glenys, I can see you putting your hand up.
Were we not going to review that document in 6 months' time?
No, that's the grants.
Yeah, grants.
That was the grants policy we were going to review, not the cell one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that all right, Pete?
No, I mean, it's just that I wanted to know exactly where it was coming from, not because of its content, but because
it's coming from us. It's our go-to document.
No, that's fair enough. It's fair enough. I mean, yeah. Anyway, that's okay. Really, I've not no huge views on it. I just because it does cover a huge area and a wide thing to do with money which appears to be available if it's directed in the right or the directions that we as a council have the right, as it were, to point it, even whether we get it or not, in those different directions.
Yeah. Super. Thank you, Pete. Judy, you're next on my board here. Nothing? Glenys?
No, nothing.
Nandin?
He's asleep.
Where am I? Yeah, the Worthington Gardens food forest project. It's sort of, I think, was slowed down with the changes of the council and all the COVID afterwards. But just a question, really. I think they're trying to understand whether there has been an underground services plan obtained, because they don't want to plant trees or whatever close to the underground services, and I think they've been waiting on that. I don't know if that's if anyone knows anything about that at all.
Emily?
That might have been something that was discussed with Neil. Alice, before you left.
Emily, have you got an answer?
No, I haven't got an answer. It just reminded me, Nandin, when you mentioned Worthington Woods, that I think Vanessa Becca Hughes from the Green Wedmore Group had asked the other day if the Parish Council have liability cover.
That was going to be that's going to be my third question.
Just ignore me.
Okay, Rod?
We've
got liability cover?
We're fully insured for all our properties, including the car park.
Excellent. Okay, Nandin, what else?
Okay, so we don't have the plan at all. Do you know where we could get that from?
The plan for what?
I don't think there are any undergrounds. Well,
we haven't had that done. We haven't had that done.
No, she's asking whether there are existing services so that you.
It's a field.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a field, and I know there's the big dip in it, which is the kind of soak away from the main car park. That was in case of flood. And other than that, there must be some pipes that run somewhere from the sewage to the outlet on the Lurburn, but I wouldn't know where they were. So the only way you can find out about that is going to Wessex Water, I guess.
Would they be on the deeds at all, plans? I mean, I don't know.
Will they be on any deeds, Rod?
I have no idea.
An easement, wouldn't they?
Up-to-date ones.
Yeah.
You need up-to-date plans. Deeds are very old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I meant land registry or whatever. But okay. So we don't have them. I can. Also, Vanessa was talking about getting the nettles cut before they carry out the project.
We'll sort that out. We get Will or someone in there to cut the nettles before the planting. We just need a bit of notice.
Yeah, okay.
When the planting is actually going to happen.
And because she was thinking of trying to get the parish council down to discuss dates. I mean,
absolutely fine. Just tell her to get in touch with me.
If we just get a date together, that's fine. Okay. Well, I think that's it then.
Sean's waving his hand.
To cut the nettles, it might be an opportunity for Martin Cooper, who said he would like to turn up with some of his equipment, and people that have been shown how to use things like the strimmers, which are available for free. We could actually do the training and get rid of all the nettles at the same time.
Even better. What a great idea.
Martin's he's very keen. He's hot to trot on lots of things, so we could get members of the public to come and who want to
play with the strimmer.
Well put.
Okay, that sounds like a great plan. So yes, someone just get Vanessa to get in touch with me, and we can sort some dates out. Jackie, any issues? No. Isabel?
Yeah. Can I just? It's just an administration issue. I don't know where the list of the SIL money comes from. Somebody called Amelia, or is it Rod that actually composes it?
Rod.
Amelia Alve is the planning person in Sedgemoor. Well, so
Rod's putting his hand up.
Amelia Alve is a planning officer at Sedgemoor Council. She's also responsible for the allocation of the SIL money, and she writes to us once a year and tells us how much we are likely to get. It's not a guarantee because, as I said to you before, some of these applications will not take place, the properties will be sold on, so it's not a guarantee, but she gives us a rough idea what to expect. And we get our SIL money paid in twice a year.
Okay, thank you.
Brilliant. Alistair?
Only one question. We've got these new double yellow lines, which are very prominent, but coming up at the bottom of Church Street the other day, somebody parked in that bay just towards the church from the junction, and meant that nobody could pull in there with traffic coming down.
Yeah, it's still going to happen, unfortunately. We've had to do it to just trying to deter people. Most people apply by the rules, which is great. And County Council do send their vans round to ticket round villages that do have double yellow lines. I know they've been, and people have got tickets. So
it does happen. It was there this morning, Polly.
Was he? Good chap.
This morning.
Some people will get away with it. Others won't, and the ones that don't will think again. However, I think so far when I walk down, I don't find it as bad as it is. And quite often if I see people parked to them, I just give them a hard stare. But they were a deterrent, and at least we can get tickets done randomly. So yeah, you'll still get the naughty people.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Emily?
So just one thing I forgot to say earlier, Isabel, welcome. And just on the street lighting project that you're going to lead, I did get a little bit more information. So when David and Rupert came and presented to us, they had mentioned a project in Westbury Submendip. And I've got some more information on that. So I will email that to you and Nandin and, who was the other person? Jackie?
Jackie? Was it Jackie?
Yeah. Jackie? Okay, I'll email that to you. And then I was just wondering, Polly, because we've all sort of mentioned potential cycle path between the villages. I was just wondering if maybe we could put it on the agenda for next meeting to talk about how we could maybe push forward with that idea.
Yeah, that would be nice. I mean, I'll just say again how several of us over, you know, space, I think Glenys said the other day, about 20 years have been looking into this. We've all looked at the Blackford, Wedmore Road, either side, you know, wouldn't it be great? We've got as far, Tessa Munt and I got as far as talking to most of the landowners, had one stubborn one. We've got a couple of stubborn ones who won't budge, who are kind of ruining it. But yeah, it would be great. But this seems to be a procedure that keeps rolling and rolling and rolling, because there's a couple of people who won't, you know, donate a 2-metre strip of land.
Yeah.
So do you think there's nothing different between what Emily's work and Jackie's work has done so far? It's no different to what happened in the past, or is it a different route or a different thing? I don't know.
That's for sure. It's going up. That's going up from Little Island, isn't it, where you walked? But the one that everyone's been looking at for years was on
along the road,
on the main road behind the hedge.
Yeah. And which sounds like it won't work, because there are people who just won't ever. But I just wonder if now's the time. I mean, I know that it's been going on for years and years, but I guess that doesn't mean that there's any reason why we shouldn't just try one more time. Seeing as
no, if someone's got the energy and wants to do it, then that's lovely. I have to say, I thought I got close, and it was one of the first things I did when I got elected, was trying to get out there and sort this problem out. But it is like wading through treacle. But yeah, if someone wants to, you know, just let Rod know if you want it on the agenda next month, and if someone's got the energy to look into it, fabulous.
Okay.
Sean?
I'm just a bit concerned about the public engagement and the lack of it, probably because of COVID since January and February. We hear talks about maybe a second wave or lots of deaths in winter. I think communities can actually become much more insular if we've got another 6 months. And I'm worried about the beer festival going, church services going. The Field Show looks under threat now because of this 30 number. We are trying to get around that in the Field Show by having possibly a picnic, but we don't know. And I'm very worried that people eventually will just say, well, sod it, there's another year and lots of things are just gonna not happen. And I'm just wondering if the Parish Council have a way of, maybe through the Isle of Wedmore News, having a emergency couple of pages or something, to actually show that the Parish Council, for instance, we're the only one of 6 in the Somerset that meet every month, that they see that there is a lot of stuff going on through the Parish Council, through the Green Group, and through other people who just give voluntary their time. I'm worried. I mean, there's lots of people with Alzheimer's who are left on their own, and I think eventually we're going to lose a certain fabric. If this time next year that there's still some sort of lockdown after a second wave, we need to sort of show somehow. It's worrying. I don't know what the answer is, but
I think what probably one of the answers is that, Joe, we get together with Richard Neal again, and our group of the team who set up the sort of Wedmore COVID emergency thing, and we probably then have to think about the next stages. We talk to the vicar, we talk to our team, and we've got so many helpers. Yeah. We've got hundreds of people who can't do anything because there's nothing for them to do. So that's potentially, you know, keep checking on your neighbour. You know, check.
Might just need to show that we, you know, that.
So yeah, that we, you know, that we'll have another meeting and see where we go next.
Well, everybody knows that we can all help somehow, and it might have just sort of. Maybe people got fatigued with it, but maybe we need to just sort of show that we're all still supporting you.
We can rev them all up again. You're absolutely right. I mean, I still, you know, for the little people, the various people I look after, and I keep going to get a prescription for a lady every month, and she's terribly embarrassed, and I don't know why. And we have lovely conversations, and you know, we've formed a great friendship, and I know that all the other people who've helped other people will feel the same. So yes, we definitely need to keep everyone.
There might be a game changer next week with everybody's got to wear masks. From next week, and maybe the people who are shielding are going to say, I really don't want to go out now, and they might have been drifting back in. So you know,
we'll have another meeting and sort that out. Nandon?
Thank you.
I just wanted to say, actually, on that point, what a great job you, Emily and Joe have been doing on it, actually. I mean, you've been doing a lot more than I've done. I haven't really had that much need to, but I think you've been very greatly engaged in it, and you've done a cracking bit of work, actually. So
thank you. I mean, we've been very lucky, because actually I think it's all died down quite a lot. It's been quite quiet. I think we've all got our regulars. I had some people recently who their helper couldn't continue to help because she was going to have an operation, so she had to isolate. So I found someone else. It's dead easy because there's all these people who are still there wanting to help. So we're very lucky. We have such a lovely community of people who do want to help and get involved. So I think they will be there if there's another wave, definitely. Jo, any concerns, anything?
Yeah, I have had a number of people from Cocklake and Crickham in particular say they can no longer use the footpaths over to Wedmore. So that will have to come up quite quickly. The stiles are almost unusable, and if you are getting less and less flexible, my kids can do it, but Rich and I are finding it harder, and there's certainly people up the road who
I know exactly where you're talking about. I've walked that not too long ago, and oh my God, I could hardly pull myself over some of them. They're very high. We need to find out who the landowners are because it's their responsibility.
Yeah, I did wonder whether there was some way with the SIL money. I mean, we're going to start discussing that in more detail now. Whether there was some kind of way we could put a grant together to encourage people to maybe upgrade what they've got there that they can apply. I don't know.
Can I just fill you in on a little story I had with a local farmer where Somerset County Council footpaths were prepared to donate Bristol gates to various farmers, install them for free, donate them and supply the workforce, and the farmers still wouldn't take them.
Okay.
And it's just like, right, we're giving you all this free, and with the free labour, oh no, it's not on my.
Yeah, because Cockley, Crickham and Clewer do feel sometimes that whilst we are in the parish of Wedmore, we aren't actually involved in the parish of Wedmore that much and remembered that often. And not to be able to connect by walking into Wedmore over the fields will make them feel even more isolated.
Sort those landowners out.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, Eleanor and I do a paper round around Wedmore and Blackford, and in Blackford I have raised it with Emily, but it absolutely stinks. Up at Snitefield Lane to Quab Lane Crossroads, yesterday we were literally gagging. It's disgusting, the smell. It's gag worthy. Eleanor gets headaches quite quickly, and it would be the sulfite or sulfate in the air. Now, for those people who live up at the Quab Lane Crossroads, there's two, three houses up there now. I mean, God knows how they put up with that day in, day out. It is foul.
But it's not like that every day, is it? They've been slurry spreading.
It's quite pungent most days. You have to do the windows up as you drive along Snitefield Lane most days. But in particular, yesterday, so much so that we went a different route today.
Yeah, I could smell it here because they were slurry, and when we were playing tennis, it was very smelly. But they were spreading their slurry. I mean, that's rural living, isn't it, I guess.
Yeah. But it is quite bad.
Yeah, well, I don't know what we can do about that one. Jackie, you're waving your hand.
All right, just a very quick question. If you get someone, where we had an incident in Theale in the last few weeks where I'm guessing the landowner smeared grease all over the stile, over the top of the stile and over the post, so that if you tried to climb over it, you got absolutely plastered. What can you do about that?
That's nice. I don't know what you can do about that. Report whoever the landowner is to Somerset County Council, to the highways.
The Parish Council have no authority on footpaths.
No.
There's a county footpath.
Footways guy at Somerset County Council.
Chris East.
Yeah, go to Chris East, actually. He's the best. He's at Somerset County Council. He's brilliant. So report it to him, and he'll come and have a look, and he can go and chat to the landowner. He's a pretty good bloke, actually. So any of those issues, guys, actually, if you're not getting anywhere with the landowners, email Chris East at Somerset County Council and tell him I told you to, because I get on really well with him, and he will look into that and sort it out for you. Right, Jo, was that it?
Can I ask a question, Madam Chairman?
Well, go on then, if it's quick.
Is the brown liquid that the clerk is drinking, is that cough mixture?
Coffee, he's saying it's coffee. I bet it's whiskey. Right.
It's coffee, Peter.
Is it? Jolly good. Okay, item number 16, correspondence.
It's all been circulated, Madam Chairman. There's very little other stuff this month.
Okay, item number 17, committee reports. Okay, cemetery.
Yes, it's looking okay. I've got a few issues out there. I've been out there today and had a good look around. There's a few bits that need doing, but I'll talk to Rod and to Will, or I'll get myself out there. But it's in hand anyway. But yeah.
Okay.
It can be improved.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Glenys. Facilities allotments and footpaths for the time being.
Facility allotments.
Yeah. Well, yes. Facilities allotments.
There is a meeting, a committee meeting next week, next Wednesday on the 22nd. Got lots of ideas and things to chew around. So hopefully the committee members can make it and we can have a meeting.
Lovely. Great stuff. Finance and general purposes.
That's nothing, Madam Chair.
Housing.
No, Neil.
I'm sure I had something to say about housing.
Strong,
yes.
Strong box next Tuesday.
Show home. If anybody wants to look around the show home, let Rod know. It's between 10:30 and 12:30 next Tuesday. So anybody needs to go and have a look, please do. And I'm trying to do the same with Acorn, but they haven't got back to me. They're pretty rubbish. But their show home's pretty much open now. So anybody wants to go and have a look around, I did say it'd be nice to take us on site as well and show us what's happening, but there we are. Highways, car park and brook.
I shall be speaking to the previous chairman to see what needs to be handed on.
Okay.
Loads.
Not a lot. Planning. She's not here.
No, there's only 2 planning applications outstanding. We've been going very, very well indeed by email consultations. Done very well indeed.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, reports. Oh, well, I said we'll do footpaths and green issues. Not on the agenda, but we'll slip it in there. Sean?
I think we've talked enough about it. I think we'll all go home and just, yeah.
Well, it's 9 o'clock.
Good stuff. No, it's not. It's 8:49, Rodney. Right. Reports and representatives on committees. Out of Wedmore News.
Yes, you'll be delighted to know we are coming back. It should be at the printers by now. It's all written. It should be the same size as previously. We've had quite a lot of nice articles. So it's looking good. And the August edition should be arriving on your doorsteps as soon as I can get it out there.
That's fabulous. Well done. It'd be nice to have that back. Play areas. Oh, that's me. So yes, play areas have reopened. As a committee, we between us all went and tidied them up, cleaned some of the equipment down. Will kindly went and cut all the grass for us, and we had discussions about hand sanitizer and stuff, and we came to the conclusion that if you put anything anywhere, it'd just be nicked or vandalized. And it's up to really the parents to supervise their children and take them home and wash all their hands and do the rest of it. So we've tied it up, we've put the signs up with guidance and the social distancing rules, and let them get on with it. But nice to hear the kids in there. When I was up by the tennis court the other day, lots of kids making lots of noise and having fun, so it was really nice. Salk.
Yeah, not so much to report. We just paid our sub of £870, and the training courses which they've promised us have all been cancelled due to bad broadband connections, which I think is pretty poor.
Okay. Contentious. Wedmore Playing Fields Management. We haven't got anyone on the committee yet, have we?
Nothing on that.
And that's the plan I have for somebody else. So I'm going to do some sweet talking to get them on the Parish Council. Village halls. Okay, we've got Sean.
Just that the field show is looking very much in the balance. Certainly there's been lots of guidance to the maximum of 30 you can have within a hall. So it was always going to be probably in the orchard. but the committee haven't made a decision yet. And if something happens, it might be people really just, if they want to bring produce, they can show it there rather than it being the formal thing that happened in the marquee. But there's lots of people want to sort of be able to meet one another, just even if it's 2 meters in the orchard. So that would be good. Yeah.
Okay, Alistair?
Yeah, there was a meeting of the, an actual meeting of the Village Hall Committee, and we were going through the guidance with a view to trying to reopen the Village Hall.
Mm-hmm.
The current plan is to reopen on the 1st of August, but the list of things that you can actually do in the hall is minimal. So things you can do, you can have a meeting there, the Cubs could go there, you could have a film show, maximum 30 people, as has been said, film shows. And the quilters, what you can't do is badminton, yoga, drama, singing, dancing, or children's parties.
Okay.
So it's we just have to wait until the guidance changes to do anything else.
Pete?
Yeah, Blackford is exactly the same comments I would have made virtually for word. It's, you know, we just.
Okay. Twinning, Judy, anything?
I've heard nothing from them.
Okay. Green Wedmore.
Just some points from the minutes from the July meeting. There has been a lot of misunderstanding about renewables and green energy and what you can and can't do with your houses. So we're planning to have a virtual green open homes rather than the physical one they did about 5 or 6 years ago. There's lots and lot more houses that are green, and there's going to be probably something like a YouTube channel where people will do a tour around their own house showing what it is they've got, and people can dip it into any time rather than it being, you know, people meeting up. So that's going to happen later. The other one is, well, is there a need in the Parish Council for Worthington Woods now? Or should there?
No, but I talked, so I'm happy to, yes, me.
Okay, okay. Okay, well, there is a public meeting in late August for all the residents around the area. The date's to be, I don't know, it's not on here, to consider trees designs, Q&A and planting, and possible finding volunteers for when the Food Forest Project do the planting in November. I don't know when that date is, but that's something which I think is going to happen through Vanessa, I think.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't have a date.
Okay. I might not be around, but.
Okay.
Anyway.
There's a proposal which was agreed by the Green Group to continue with the doorstep, free cycle events over the summer for the next 3 months. It was considered the weekend event, which we did before, was very successful. And so there's going to be one in August, September and October, where a sign will go up saying there's a free cycle, help yourself, and please follow COVID rules and don't leave it any longer than 2 days if you can. Because people thought the last one went very well. A lot of people got rid of a lot of stuff.
Good. Excellent.
And there is there's a national litter picking event, which is great that we will actually join with them rather than the Green Group taking the lead. Somebody else in Wedmore is doing it, and it's between the 11th and the 27th, and we'll tag along with them and lend them our equipment, but it's being led by somebody else for the first time ever. It's not the Green Group that's doing the litter picking.
11th and 27th of which month?
September. And I don't know what the national litter picking event is called, but somebody is coordinating that.
I think that's Charlotte Monson.
I think that's right. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Cool. Lovely.
Okay, thank you.
Super. Lovely, thank you, everyone. Okay, item number 18, matters of report and items for the next meeting. Rodney, turn your thingy off. You're on mute. You're on mute.
I am. Nothing from me, Madam Chairman.
Super. Okay. Well, that looks like it's it. I think we could close the meeting at 8:56. And thank you all for coming and attending and for your input. And you won't see me next month because I'm going to be away. But my lovely sidekick, my number 2, Madam Glennis, will hopefully stand in for me. Hopefully, unless she's away, and then Rod will have to do it on his own.
Yeah. Right, but we'll do it.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks very much. Okay, thank you guys. Good night.
Thank you.